Namaste, my friend. My name is Katrina. Welcome to this yoga for your back and core. Often we have low back pain because, one, we have a chronic condition, we have an injury, we have something going on, but quite often we have low back pain because our core might be a little bit weak, or because we don't know what it feels like to be in more of a neutral pelvis in our world. I know for me, I do have a sway back, which means that for me, my low back kind of feels natural when it's in compression, but it doesn't mean it feels good. So today's class, we're going to be working on stabilizing the core and finding what feels good in neutral. So you're going to need a couple of blocks. If you don't have a block, a hardcover book, because we're going to put it on our tailbone, on our sacrum. But we are going to start off, oh, and you might need a blanket for underneath your knees. We are going to start off on our back. So take a roll down and let's place our feet down onto our mat. Now, this is great if you do Pilates with me as well, because we want to be able to come into neutral pelvis. Neutral pelvis means that the pelvis is balanced. The pubic bone and the hip bones are horizontal. So the pubic bone isn't lifting up or the hip bones aren't lifting up. We should have a little mouse hole underneath the low back, but not too much. And everybody's is going to look different. So I invite you to take the heels of your hands onto your hip bones and splay those index fingers down to the pubic bone. And let's start by rocking the pelvis back and forth and back and forth. So finding that full range of motion here and feeling how it feels to be in what's known as imprint of the spine, we're pushing the low back in, and what it feels like to be in arched. Usually it's a little easier to find neutral pelvis on the mat lying down. So let the rocking get smaller and smaller, and this is where your hip bones and your pubic bone are going to be horizontal. Now, start to bring maybe one hand onto the belly or both, and we're going to lift up the elbows and start by sending the breath now into the belly. So breathing into the belly, feel the breath into the low back, and then exhaling. Inhaling here. And exhaling. So we're doing a yoga breath, Adham, breathing into the belly. One more. And we'll set our hands down to the sides. Now we're going to come into more of a spinal mobilization shoulder bridge. So we want to make this even bigger than what we were doing before. We want to flow into imprint, so pressing low back in, and then starting at the tailbone, peel the vertebrae up into shoulder bridge. We're going to hold this, and again, you can kind of find what feels good. Often people in yoga will lift the ribs up, really splaying them, and then they'll get some low back compression. We want to be in neutral here. If you feel a shoulder bridge as compression in the low back, think about reaching the weight towards your toes. Holding, inhaling, and then we'll peel all the way down. Inhale here, so vertebrae by vertebrae, we flow through imprint and then lift up, reaching those knees away, and then vertebrae by vertebrae down. So we're mobilizing the spine and stretching here. Couple more breaths, all the way up, reaching the knees away, weight over the toes, spread the toes out, and all the way down. One more, just like this, please. All the way up. Holding that here, maybe even feeling how it feels in your ribs and in your pelvis. Squeezing those glutes. Glute strength is never a bad thing. And then we'll lower down. Let's draw the knees into the chest one at a time and find either Apanasana, reclining child's pose, or let's find our happy baby. You can hold on here, reach here, or peace fingers. And then let the body just rock back and forth a little bit. Stretching it out. And then we'll take those legs down and reach the hands up. We're going to take the feet nice and wide. Let the arms drop one way and the legs the other way. Come on up and we'll go the other way. Inhaling up, exhaling, dropping down. Inhaling up and exhale. Couple more. Nice big swishes of the body here. Last time. Each side, of course. Reach everything back up. We'll draw the knees in and either rocking over with control or rolling up. Now we're going to come onto all fours. And let's take that block. You know I love my cork blocks. And we're going to set it down onto the sacrum. Now what people frequently do is let the pelvis just kind of drop like this. If this is you, maybe we want to take the block and set it this way so that you are pushing the low back up and into the block. But we don't want to be this way. Did you see that? So we don't want to be arched. We want to find that neutral. Lift it up into the block. And now let's lift up one of our legs and stretch that back. Notice what happens to the back. Notice how it feels. And you can be down on your elbows or up on your fists here, my friend. And then let's just come to the tip of that toe. Now we want to keep the back really, really neutral, and we're just going to lift the leg and lower it down. So we're just lifting and lowering. Lift the leg and lower the leg. So we're not allowing that hip to really lift. We're not allowing the low back to take the load. You're probably going to be feeling this in the gluteal muscle. Let's do a couple more. Keep that belly pulling in nice and strong here. One more. And then we'll draw that in. Let's do the other side. Reach the other leg back. Big stretch here. Rock forward to the tip of the toe, and then let's lift it up and touch down. And we want to draw that belly up and touch down. We're using our core here. Now pull all of this in. You want to feel that tight belt do up. Nice big tight corset and touch. Exhale and inhale. Good. So keep pulling that belly in. Keep reaching that low back up toward the block. Good. Couple more, just like this. Keep squeezing. This should be quite a bit for the glute, lots for the core, lots for that back. Let's do one more. And then we'll draw that in. Let's take that block away. And you can soften on back into a child's pose here. And into the low back. Couple more breaths. Press back up now. We're going to push the low back upwards. So not push, but think about lifting the low back upwards. Let's again reach that first leg back. And we're going to start this time to draw that knee in toward the nose and do a nice big cat. And then we'll flex the foot and reach away. Exhaling, drawing in, cat pose. Inhale, reaching away, neutral. Exhale in, inhale back. So we're rounding the back and then flowing back into neutral. Now, if you're feeling really good, you can start to reach that opposite hand away and then opposite elbow to knee. Exhaling and inhaling. Couple more. One more. We'll set that down and let's do the other side. So where we go, lift it up, point the toe, cat pose, draw it in. Inhale, flex, reach it away. Cat pose, draw it in. Inhale, flex, reach it away. Dog, cat, and inhale. Again, you can start to reach that opposite elbow away. So now we're flowing through movement of the spine and neutral, finding strength, finding that core. Couple more just like this. Last time. Set that down and soften back one more time into child's pose, and then we're going to come. Let's flow all the way down onto the belly. I'm just going to move the block away a little bit. And we're going to come down, bringing our hands onto our forehead into crocodile pose. Now right here, take a moment and rock that pelvis back and forth. So again, we're finding that neutral, thinking about drawing that belly up toward the back, keeping it tight. From here, let's squeeze the glutes a little bit so we have our hands stacked underneath the forehead, crocodile pose. We're going to do a little Pilates diamond press. So just lifting the elbows off. You should be able to just touch the floor here. The elbows are only lifted a little bit. We're rolling the shoulders back, and then we'll lower down. Inhale here. Exhale, we're just going to lift the elbows and the hands off. We're relaxing the head down into the hands, and then lowering. 2 more times, exhaling up. Keep drawing that belly up, 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 up. And release. It doesn't matter how high you go. 1 more. And release. This time we'll take the feet a little bit wider, and let's make a fist with our left hand. Wrap the right hand around that, coming into a high crocodile. And what we're going to do is pick those feet up toward the sky and then just allow them to windshield wiper from side to side. So we're in a little bit of a back bend here, and we're relaxing the low back. It's a little massage for the quads as well, which is kind of nice. Let's come on back down. Now if this feels good, stay where you are. Relax your bum. You can bring that second hand up, so just a little bit of a back bend. And you can kind of do a little bit of a cat-cow here and see how this feels. And again, we can pick those feet up and windshield wiper them from side to side. Little titrating of the movement, so finding what feels good in the low back. And then we will drop those legs, bring the head all the way down back onto the hands in crocodile. Taking a breath or two right here. And then let's draw those hands underneath the shoulders. We'll press all the way back, finding our child's pose again. We're going to pick those hands up and just walk them gently over to the left. Little twisted child's pose or tadpole if this was yin. And then we'll walk all the way over to the right. This is so good for the low back. Take a few more breaths right here. Let's come on back in. And we'll press up onto all fours again. Take your time and let's check out that cat and cow again. Exhaling and inhaling. Exhaling and inhaling. How do you feel? So we did a little bit of mobility for the back and a little bit of strength work for the core and the back. Notice how you feel, and let's come all the way back down onto the back again, and we will check in, see how we are. Roll down. Let's draw those knees in and circle out. Little circle or two to the right and to the left. Set those feet down. And again, little pelvic tilts here. So little kind of cat-cow while you're on the back. And then rock on in. Let's find that neutral again. And notice how you feel. Maybe we have a little bit more strength here. Maybe we have a little bit more ease. Maybe you just feel good. I find moving the pelvis around just kind of unsticks things. It brings me a little bit more ease. Let's draw those knees in and we'll find our happy baby, whatever that might look like. It might be an Apanasana, reclining child's pose. We might extend those feet upwards. We might keep the hands here, reach, or use those peace fingers and find what feels good in our body. Now for me, I will never turn down or rock back and forth in the happy baby pose. Maybe a stretch. Let's take another breath. And we'll let it all go. And I invite you now to take what feels good for you for a little brief Shavasana. But this is more of a check-in Shavasana. So maybe we shake the legs out a little bit. And I invite you to notice if you have just a little bit more ease in the body. Notice if maybe this is a little more comfortable. For people that have a pretty big sway back, sometimes Shavasana, lying flat out on the back, is not comfortable at all for people. So remember that you can bend those knees, even drop the knees together or let the knees go into a reclining butterfly. Do what feels good for 2 more breaths, my friend. And then let's roll over onto our side and we will push up, finding a comfortable seat. I don't know about you, but I have just a little bit more comfort in my low back. Have a little bit more activation going on in the core, and those little shifts can mean all the difference in our body. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. I hope that you enjoyed this one. Dhanyavada. Thank you.